In this video, we looked at a worked example of concepts like the box and whisker and standard deviation. And so what you've got is a table showing the distances in kilometers traveled daily by a sales representative for 21 working days in a certain month. And so they've lovingly put it into order from smallest to biggest. Sometimes you might need to do a bit of rearranging yourself. So calculate the total distance traveled. You're going to just add up all this information and divide it by the 21 days. And that gives you an answer of roughly 157.62. Write down the 5-number summary. The 5-number summary is made up of the min, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the max. And so the min is easy, 131, and the max is easy, 189. But the lower quartile, we're going to use this formula. And when we put in the number of data, it gives us a quarter of 22, which spits out 5.5. I find it helpful to always, when you use this formula, write a as if it's a position, because it reminds you not to think that's the answer, but to look between. It's not an exact number, so we look between the 5th and the 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Q1 will be between there. So I'll need to add up these two numbers and divide it by 2. And so my lower quartile would be 142.5. Q2 would just be double this, so that would be the 11th data. And so I look at the 11th data, and that just gives me exactly an answer of 151. I go to Q3, which is the upper quartile, n plus 1, and that spits out an answer of 16.5. And that's also not a specific place. And so I look between the 16 and the 17th data, and I add those two numbers up and divide it by 2, and that gives me my answer, 173. And so I've got the 5-number summary. It's the min, which we said was 131. It's the max, which we said was 189. It's the lower quartile. It's the median, and it's the upper quartile. A very common, like this question follow-on, would be to draw a box and whisker. And so you'd have your min value, which is 131. You'd have your lower quartile, which is 142.5. You'd have your median, which is 151. You'd have your upper quartile, which was 173. So space-wise, you'd be kind of measuring this on a ruler, or typically they'll probably give you a grid, and the max was 189. You join your quartiles at the top, and you join from the middle of the min to the lower quartile, and the middle of the max to the upper quartile. And here's your box and whisker. Comment on the skewedness. It will always be skewed to the box that's bigger, so you could say skewed to the right, or you could say positively skewed. It just means there's more variance and space out happening on the right-hand side. Calculate the standard deviation. That is where you'd have to use your calculator, and you'd have to use the steps of pressing mode, stats, 1 minus var for variance. You would type in all this data, which would be quite tedious, and then press AC. Then you'd go shift 1, and you would choose the option var for variance, and then you would choose the little pig's tail with the X, and that's the standard deviation. And when you chose that option, you got the answer of 17.27. Then the last two questions, a sales representative discovered that in his odometer it was faulty, and the actual reading on the 21 days was p kilometers more than which had been indicated. Write down in terms of p, if applicable, the actual mean. And so the mean would just be what it was, which we worked out earlier was 157.62 plus P, because every day is going to be a little bit more, so the average goes up. And the standard deviation, how's that affected? It's unaffected. It will have the same standard deviation every time. And so I hope that you found that helpful. If you did, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends. Thanks.